enough time to get the bets in for the primetime games. That's what we do here on the drive-thru Monday through Friday here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Is deliver live free sports picks for the games beginning at 7 p.m. Eastern Time and later. And to deliver those winners are professional handicappers over at Pick Dogs and Sports Chat Place. Let's take a peek at who's on the show with us for today. All right, we got Chris Ruffolo. Big Al McMordie's with us. It's Wednesdays with Mitch. Rod Zawacky. Dan Lane will sign in bottom of the hour, and Wayne Scott. Here's how they'll line up for this evening. Ruffolo, Mitch, McMordie, Scott, Zawacky, Lane, and then I will close this one out. All right, baseball on the board today. Lots of games in action after, but we have enough in the primetime slate to get us covered here on the show. So let's get this one underway. Welcome in Chris Ruffolo. Catch him over at Pick Dodge Prim. Hope you guys are catching that morning show during the week, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. on the weekend. Of course, Chris has a video series here this time of the year with those home run picks, home run props for you there on the show. So guys, on the channel, so make sure you guys tune in. We'll bring in Chris here, ready to roll here with baseball. Chris, what's happening?
Tony, I'm watching this afternoon baseball, and I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, I'm going to have a bald spot for how many times the Red Sox are going to make me scratch my head today. It's ridiculous. But you know what? It's okay. Like you said, we've got a whole evening time slot to look forward to. I'm excited. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I would do better if Cleveland's bullpen didn't. And it's been my issue this past week and a half. I had some blown leads, pretty big blown leads. Any big blown lead has been on my side. And of all teams, a team that can't hit, overcomes a 4-zip deficit against a team that can pitch. And that happens in baseball. You just got to deal with it. All right, here we go. Tonight, speaking of dealing with, this Mets team, man, they wanted to give it away. They really did, but they couldn't last night. For somehow, the White Sox didn't want it. But anyway, the Mets here, favorite here, minus 190, total 8.5.
Yeah, I mean, the Mets, they can't even lose right now. But anyways, that's another story for another day. And today, I just think that there's just a sizable advantage for the Mets here. Do I love laying minus 190 or chasing a run line with the Mets? Not really, but I think this is a justifiable spot. I mean, Justin Verlander getting the start for the Mets here. He has been a lot better at Citi Field. A 2-3 record, but a 2.57 ERA, 203 opponent batting average, and he gets a matchup here against the Chicago White Sox team that, in the past, their issue has been hitting right-handed pitching. And it's been like that for some time now. It used to be they only hit lefties well, but even then, the White Sox aren't even doing that well right now. It's just a disaster for the White Sox. And, I'm not looking to back Touki Toussaint here. Don't get me wrong. Do I love the Mets right now? No, they're still 44-50 on the year. But Justin Verlander gives them a considerable edge here. There's a considerable edge in the bullpen department as well. The White Sox bullpen in July at 5.29 ERA. The White Sox, just a much better bullpen effort. The Mets, a much better bullpen effort. So I think this one's Mets start to finish. I think they take out Toussaint early. I think Justin Verlander, we see vintage Verlander here. I got to go with the Mets on the run line in this one.
All right, here we go with Chris here. Mets, the run line, they the run and a half. About even money, plus 110 now. You can find some of the books out there here against the White Sox. Yeah, Verlander, definite advantage. Really trending heavily to the under, but under probably isn't where you want to go these days, especially with this summer.
Yeah, no, I think if you're going with an under, you're banking on inept offense in this game, which, I mean, let's face it, with the Mets and the White Sox for much of this season, may not be a bad angle to take, but I got to think that the Mets, they win out here. I think there's just too much of a pitching advantage for Justin Verlander here. And this is a guy that you really don't fade over the course of his career when he's in interleague play. I think that's one of the things that I've noticed the most about Justin Verlander. You look at his career splits in interleague play, he's just been absolutely dominant. 61 starts, a 39-12 record, a 2.68 ERA. Some people, it may not mean much to some, but it's just one of those numbers that really stands out.
There we go here. Chris with the Mets, run on, they had the run and a half, plus 100, plus 110. Do your shopping. I post the sharpest book in the world here so you guys can do your shopping, get the best possible numbers, get the best possible odds with your bets, especially if you're into high volume betting. It makes a huge difference. All right, Chris, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge Prim for tonight's action. Of course, baseball on the board tonight. Of course, if you think about football, Chris might be your guy. Come off a great year last year, 2022 season, over 1,300 units of profit. Preseason football just 2 weeks away. Baseball on the board tonight. What do you have going on over at Pick Dogs Premium?
Well, Tony, like I said, I have my pick-off play in the afternoon, but I still have a prime-time pick for tonight's action for $24.99, or this is just a great time to hop on long-term. It's Christmas in July. I got my yearly pass knocked down, and like Tony said, great season in NFL last year. really sharpening in on NFL and college football. I'm excited for this season. So definitely something that you want to make sure that you take advantage of over at Pick Dogs Premium.
Right, Christmas in July. A lot of the packages are been reduced for this Christmas July promotion, guys. So go ahead and get signed up with Chris Ruffolo over at Pick Dogs Premium. Remember the promo code Pick saves you 15% off. And again, these long-term passes, 1 year pass includes not only the regular season, if Chris is in action with preseason football, and covers all sports, all postseason. There's none of this, well, it just covers regular season. We want more money for the postseason. Nope, not with our passes. Postseason included. So get signed up. All right, Chris, as always, great having you show. Have a great rest of the week. And we'll catch up with you again next week. But let everybody know, we can catch you now in the mornings. Of course, we do see you with Chris, you and Jay on the weekends. And, of course, that home run prop video series you put together.
Yeah, just tons of stuff going on. Like you said, every morning we're here to deliver free picks. And yeah, like you said, I got my home run prop video still out there for people who want some home run props for the nighttime action. But we'll try to have it out a little bit earlier tomorrow with so much afternoon baseball. But this is where you want to have notifications on so that you can be notified as soon as the freshest content drops here at Pick Dogs.
That's right, guys. Make sure you subscribe, set those notifications so when Chris's video drops, you get it right away. Get the best numbers, especially these home run props. They move quickly. So get signed up. All right, Chris, have a great rest of the week. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Sounds good, Tony. Take care.
You as well. Chris Ruffolo here on the drive-thru. Let's continue here on the show. Let's welcome in Mitch. You'll catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium Morning Show, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time during the week. We'll bring him in right now. Ready to roll with Mitch. Mitch, how's it going?
It's going. It's weird. I can feel football in the air, even though it's extremely warm across most of the U.S. It is. I still feel football. I just, it's coming. We started doing football coverage this week, and we're going to cover football 7 days a week. Pick Dogs through. Yep.
I mean, I got NFL Network will be on here throughout the summer because you got to keep an eye on these practices, especially on a lot of these scrimmages that go on. That's where you get most of your information. These preseason games, not so much now. They seem to rest a lot of players. But today, July 19th, Mitch, the first team had their veterans and rookies show up in camp, the New York Jets.
Yeah, it's. I look at a lot of these teams, and it's like, there's been a lot of big free agent signings this year, and there's also been a lot of coaching changes once again this year. Not just head coaches, but coordinators as well. So it's like, it's always the addition by subtraction and the subtraction by addition. These head coaches don't just pop up out of nowhere. A lot of these guys were coordinators on other teams. So like the Eagles, for example, went to the Super Bowl last year. That just means their offensive and defensive coordinators are both gone. Now both head coaches, and Steichen in Indy and what's his name? Gannon in Arizona. So so both these guys are gone, and then you have Eric Bieniemy now gone from the Chiefs as offensive coordinator, and he's been the guy with Mahomes every step of the way, and now he goes to Washington. And I don't even understand the logistics of this and why he went to Washington, but I'm going to guess to prove that he could do it without Mahomes and do it somewhere else. I guess he can, but it always seems to affect the teams that lose the guy, more than it helps the guys to get the guy, because the guys that get the guy, they need their guys to do their thing, and it's like
with the enemy, he's kind of going there with Rivera, more of a defensive-minded coach. So we're going to hand the keys to the offense to you, I think.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, so like the other big one for me is, Sean Payton going to the Broncos. It's like Sean Payton's a great coach, and he's in the Parcells line of coaching, and ever since I remember, it seemed like he was a teenager, right, on the sidelines with Parcells. And he was way desired then. And right now it's actually, I think it's the Cardinals defensive coordinator that's like that guy right now, who's like the 12-year-old kid that's coaching the defense. But Sean Payton, he's a good head coach, but these aren't his players. So it's like he's going to get the most out of him with what he can do, but it's like normally when there's a guy like that where it's like it's not his guys, it usually takes a good 8 or 9 games till they get rolling, and then it's the next year that they start to be good.
I want to get this before we get to the baseball. The Bill O'Brien hiring there in New England now. Remember, it was Patricia. There really wasn't an offensive coordinator last year in New England. Now you get a pretty good one there with O'Brien. I think that's a huge upgrade there in New England. Probably the biggest upgrade of any assistant coach or coordinator job.
As long as you don't have him handling your trades for you, I think you're going to be okay. Those Texans, that Laramie. You look at the Dolphins and their 2 trades, the big ones in recent memory. Laramie Tunsil for 2 firsts and a second from the Texans, plus some other stuff. And then the other trade that they got was, of course, they let the 49ers move up 1 spot in the draft to take Trey Lance. They ended up with picks, and the picks they ended up trading and using. They got Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Bradley Chubb, and one other guy that also starts on their team. So, letting the Niners move up. So it's Trey Lance for Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Bradley Chubb, and another guy. You just have to watch out for, like I said, I've been just studying with Jay Briggs. We're doing kind of these, we're going to have football every day at Pick Dogs. We're going to kind of continue on with some of the things that we started doing last year, having our pick show with Big Al, with Jay and I, and then we'll have other shows. We're just going to do shows every day with Jay and I, and we might have a guest come in either for a show or for a segment or, different things like that. Someone wants to come in and talk about, field goal props this week or something, or, they want to just come in and talk about that for, 10 minutes or so. We're going to do stuff like that, but we're going to have football 7 days a week at Pick Dogs. And I'm hoping that this will be 365 days a year.
Nice. Yeah, football seems that way. No doubt about that. All right.
We're just gonna keep it.
Yeah, makes sense. Twins, Mariners tonight, late night, 9:40 Eastern time. Mariners up to -143, and this one total 7.5.
Major League Baseball has shied away from those 10:10 Eastern time start games, and this is just another example of it, moving it back to 9:40. These Twins and Mariners both have great young pitching staffs, and you look at like the first 4 on the Mariners and the first 4 on the Twins, and you're like, man, how are these guys not way better record-wise than what we see right now? For the Twins, it's Pablo Lopez, it's Ryan, it's Bailey Ober, who we saw again throw another gem last night. It's like they're just reeling them off. And in Seattle, it's Castillo with Kirby, Wu, and Gilbert, right, are their big 4. So it's like these are good young staffs that you can build into the future. But the crazy thing about it is the Twins are 7-0 to the over in their last 7 games, man. It's like every game is going over because we're seeing totals like this at 7.5. Now, in this one, the Mariners go again with Castillo. And the thing about Castillo is he's kind of like how Matt Cain always was. And he's the type of pitcher that you say you got to throw out the win-loss record because it's not a true representation of his body of work. He's always up against the other team's number 1. So facing Kenta Maeda is actually one of the easiest assignments that he'll get all season. Kenta Maeda was really good with the Dodgers, but the thing is his top end speed is 90, 91 miles per hour these days, and that's really where it's been the last 5 years. This guy can paint the corners. He has a great slider, cement mixer, but the thing is that outside of the junk and painting the corners, he doesn't have a real out pitch except for that slider, and it's like the slider's hit and miss. It's like it could be a walk fest with that slider. So I think the Mariners do have an edge in this game. The Mariners, though, are starting to remind me a little bit of the Memphis Grizzlies from 2 years ago, man. They get to that 500 mark, they win. They get to the 500 mark, they lose. It's like they don't get any more than 2 games over or under 500. The odd thing, too, about the Mariners is I consider them to have a serious shot here at making the postseason, and I keep counting out the Twins and the Guardians. But the thing is, the Guardians, even with today's loss, they're still just like a game or game and a half behind the Mariners in the American League standings. And with the Yankees going in reverse, oh man, this is going to be a cavalry charge down the stretch. So I don't know if the Mariners end up getting it home, but they're going to have to play better than this. And this is pretty much a must-win game for them. Lopez, we've seen him, he has a big high side. The Twins were willing to trade Arise for him. that's the going rate for a Marlins pitcher at the trade deadline here. So teams, I think, know that, and they got to keep that in mind. I tell you, to be honest with you, I think after Sandy Alcantara's performance today, my guess is he gets dealt at the trade deadline. Change of scenery guy. Probably do really well somewhere else. But I think in this one, I think Seattle's going to be good enough here. I think it's going to be a competitive game, but I just think that, I don't lean too much on starting pitching, but I think the Mariners can get to Maeda, and I think the Mariners bullpen is good enough to get them home. So I'm going to take the Mariners, but it's a lean to the over as well.
Over there, we've seen a lot of overs here. No doubt about that. Although with the Mariners, it's always those bats, right? You got to hope they get enough runs, and sometimes they get them in spurts. Sometimes, like everybody else, they get cold. And of course, looking at this Castillo, although the past 2 home starts was rocked a little bit.
Yeah, he's far from perfect. He's not nearly as good as he was last year, where he came in and just dominated. But the thing is that, I think this year more than any other season that I've ever seen in Major League Baseball history, or at least since I've been watching it, which is since, according to Bitler, since Ty Cobb played. The thing is that, I have never seen it where the games are not even decided by the starting pitchers. The only thing that can decide it for a starting pitcher is if you got a guy who comes out and stinks it up for you, like Manoah did last night.
Yeah.
That's your better chance of the starting pitcher being a factor in the game. Unless you have a guy that can get you deep into the 7th, he can't take over and win a game for you anymore, because these bullpens and these games are being decided late. You look at a team like the Cincinnati Reds. They only have 5 games all season that they've led all the way. Every other win was a comeback that they've had. Same thing with the Diamondbacks. So these teams that are, have good records and are near the top of standings. We look at the Diamondbacks last night. They didn't go gavel to gavel in that thing. Man, it was ridiculous.
Yeah. They're missing Kelly, Hunter Green missing there as well for the Reds. So yeah, there are some pitchers out there that hurt. Not maybe your top line. Some of the top line starters. Some of them are important supporting cast. Mitch here on these Mariners minus 140 here against the Twins here, late night action. All right, Mitch, let's take a look at some of the scores. Of course, we talked about that Pirates team coming with that comeback victory, winning 7-5 as Dogs.
Yeah, for me, the big thing for the Pirates was Endy Rodriguez getting in the game there for the Pirates, getting his first career hit, scoring his first career run, and getting his first career win. He is the future of that organization. It is unbelievable. And I think the Pirates have always been active at the trade deadline. I think they were hoping that Rich Hill was going to be a little bit better than what he's been. I think, that's their type of guy that they would hope to deal. Teams are more interested in the Glasnows and Coles from them, though, unfortunately for them, and, guys of that nature. But, maybe the Pirates stay pat, or or don't mortgage the future, sell out their future at the trade deadline. But for the Guardians, it's clear that they need an extra bat at the bottom of their lineup, and they can't. I don't know what the status is of some of these starting pitchers, like Tristan McKenzie is out, Shane Bieber is out. So we know that the Guardians, the last 2 months of the season, are generally one of the better teams, but they didn't look like it today.
No, and that's a Bieber injury you got to keep an eye on there. That's an important one. Dodgers and Orioles. Orioles get the win here, high scoring again, 8-5, the victory as Dogs.
Ironically, it was Arias getting the go-ahead hit off of Arias. No relation, but they could be. I don't know if they're related or not, but it was Arias getting the hit off of Arias to do it. The Dodgers have actually been better on the road this year than we've seen them be, all season recently. They started the post All-Star with, on the road. Now they go to Texas.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out. The rubber meets the road in that one. Texas against the Dodgers. Something's got to give, and my guess it's going to be the Dodgers because Texas is. Oh man, you don't want to get in the way of that right now.
Yeah,
not in Texas. Jay Briggs was of course at the game today too. I could only imagine when Jonah Heim hit that 3-run blast to break it open. It's probably pretty quiet in his section.
Might have been, no doubt. Then we talk about back to that game. Rangers got it done at 5-1 favorites here at close, minus 122.
Yeah, they played really well, and the Rays once again losing. So this leaves the door open. I think with the Orioles win and the Rays loss, they might be even now in the loss column.
Marlins and Cardinals. Marlins continue their struggles. Can the Cardinals find it here late in the set with a run here in the final 2.5 months? We'll see. Cardinals 6-4 get the win. Favorites, short favorites that close -106.
I'm going to tell you this much. The Cardinals have no chance. They have no chance at all, even in that division, because with all the work that they're doing, they're still way up the track. And the thing is, all it takes is a 2-game losing streak when one of the teams ahead of them wins 2, and all of this gets erased. It really is that much. You have to remember that every series here coming out of the All-Star break, the home teams have been back-to-back home series, and the road teams have all been back-to-back road series. Every single one of them. There wasn't one series where a team was home and then they went on the road. Every single one of them. They were home, and road and road. Now the Dodgers are going road, road, road. I mean, they're going to Texas now too. A lot of the teams will be getting home. So the Marlins, we can say, they've come out of the break really cold, ice cold. We could also say that a lot of these teams that have been on the road for the bulk of it, like the Rays, they've all come out cold because they've been on the road. And the other team, I mean, the day after that Friday, because they wait so long now, they used to play games on Thursday, but now they go back on Friday. It's almost like opening day all over again. You're like on the road, and it's like opening day you got to play. Those stadiums on last Friday were just packed. They were packed like it was opening day.
Yeah, and the Dodgers Angels had an off day that Sunday too, so it was kind of interesting there. Marlins with the win here. Astros get it done 4-1 against the Rockies, way under the total of 12.5. Yeah,
Austin Gomber went for the Rockies in that one. The Astros got revenge for last night's Rockies win. Rockies, to me, are always a team to watch when they're at home, when they have a losing record, because we know they always have a winning record at home. So they got to get there somehow. So even though they went down here, I still think they were a solid play in this one, because the Astros don't lose a lot of back-to-back games, but they're missing some key players in this too, Alvarez and Altuve.
Yep. And just concluded here, Athletics hold on, get the win 6-5 against Oakland. Big dog here, +195, going again over the total.
Yeah, I lost on this one. I laid 3.5 runs on this thing, so I'm okay with it. At least I didn't lay 1.5 with odds and lose. I laid 3.5 runs and lost outright, so it's 4.5 runs to the bad, and it's better than laying
2-0 early.
It
was up 2-0 early. Then the A's came back with 2-0.
Bello was hideous. He gave up. It was like kind of the progression, like Tehran last night. Tehran was like 1 run in the first, 1 run in the second. We're on our way to a 9.0 ERA for the game, right? Yeah. And it's like, but this one was actually even worse because it was 2 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs. That he was giving up. Bello. He just did not have it today. Did not have it. The Red Sox have fought hard to get ahead of the Yankees in the standings. Back-to-back losses in Oakland are really bad news for them because these are the ones they got to have.
Yeah, those were bad. Those were the tough ones. There we go with the afternoon action beginning here. Top there. Mitch, let everybody know what's going on over at Pick Dogs and Pick Dogs Premium and Sports Chat.
It's Christmas in July. Most of the guys already have their packages up. My base pricing for my yearly package on Christmas in July is slightly higher than it was a year ago. And the reason why that is because we have the discount code PICK that you can apply. Last year, we had no discount codes on our Christmas in July specials. So if you have Christmas in July from last year that you purchased, you can always renew that. You'll get a renewal email as it's ready to expire. A lot of people take advantage of Christmas in July, and that's why I'm saying that. So you'll get that same pricing. But if you're new on the Christmas in July, you can use the discount code PICK to the package. So even though like my last year's was like $1,000, $995, and this year I made it $1,099, you get the 15% off. It ends up being about the same.
There you go. Christmas shot, guys. Get on over to Pick Dog Stream. Use that promo code PICK. Save that 15% off. Right, Mitch, as always, great having your show. Have yourself a great week.
One more quick thing I want to mention to everybody is that we're going to have a new feature on our morning show. at the end of our morning shows for years since we started doing it, we've always given out a parlay at the end of the show. Whoever's been on the show, and we've had multiple people that have been, on the morning show. It's me and Bittler, and me and Chris and Bittler, and me, Rod and Chris. It was me, Rod and Chris Act 1. It was me, Rod and Chris Act 2. Me, Joe Madden, Chris, Rod, Brian Act 1. There was right. I mean, we've had a bunch of different people, but I even wasn't on it for a while, and and now I'm not on it on the weekends. I'm just a guest. But the thing is what we're doing now is we have a new parlay feature at the end of the show, and it's going to be starting Monday. You'll be able to select. Well, we're going to have polling on all games, but we're going to also have voting on the parlay. So you'll be able to vote on my parlay, Chris's parlay, or Jay's parlay. You're allowed to pick one of them. If the parlay hits, then you're going to get something. Now, I'm polling the audience. What I said I would do is I would put $10 on each of these parlays, whatever it is, and then if the parlay hits, who we randomly select from the group, and then I Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal them whatever the parlay pays. It's a 3-team parlay, right? Either that, we randomly select, but our audience wants a Pick Dogs t-shirt or hoodie, so I'm leaning back in that direction. It's a pain in the ass to have all those t-shirts lying around, but I mean, if that's what you guys want, that's what we'll do. The last time I did a contest for a t-shirt, I ended up doing it basically an $8,000 t-shirt giveaway. I said screw the contest, and I just gave away all the t-shirts. And then it was about $5,000 in postage.
There you go. All right, guys, so keep an eye there on the more live shows. Make sure you like, subscribe, set notifications, so when the live shows are on, you're there to get out those parlays and vote and poll.
It'll give everybody a chance to get some Pick Dogs gear and a chance to get in on the parlay action with us.
Very good. All right, Mitch, have a great rest of the week. We'll catch up with you again next week.
Thanks as always, Tony. You're killing it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Mitch here on the drive-thru. Let's continue on here on the show. Welcome back here. Big Al McMordie. Catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. We'll bring in Big Al right now. Big Al, what's happening?
Not much. Glad to be back after, taking last week off. So good to see you, Tony.
Good to see you as well, Big Al. Welcome back. Tonight we go Padres and Blue Jays going head-to-head. We see the Blue Jays favored here, minus 117, total of 9.
Yeah, Jose Barrios is going to get the start for Toronto. Yu Darvish on the mound for San Diego. And Barrios has been spectacular so far. In July, he's compiled a 0.73 ERA in 2 starts, covering 12 and 1/3 innings with 10 strikeouts and 2 walks. And most importantly, Toronto won both of those July starts. And the Blue Jays have now won 8 of his last 10 starts dating back to May 23rd. So I'm going to take a look at Barrios here as a small favorite. This is going to be the second time he's faced the Padres, and his first start versus San Diego earlier in his career was terrific. He gave up just 1 run and 2 hits over 7 innings. Toronto has been dominant in interleague matchups over the years, 46-21, their last 67 versus the National League. They've also been dominant in Barrios' home starts, going 20-4, the last 24 here. At Rogers Center. And then, of course, Yu Darvish has never been good as an underdog of plus 150 or less in his career. 9-20 is how his teams have gone, minus 9.2 net games. Excuse me, that's as a road underdog of plus 150 or less, if I didn't mention the fact that it was a road specific system. So I'm going to take Toronto minus the 115 here.
All right, Big Al here on Toronto, minus 115. Minus 117, do your line shopping. Also, too, you mentioned the home split, the road split for Darvish. Hasn't been so hot this year, but 5.58 ERA.
Yeah, I think he's been very disappointing. I think the Padres as a team are, arguably one of the more disappointing teams in the league, along with teams like the Mets, et cetera. I just can't back Darvish on the road, against a guy who's been strong at home in his career like Barrios.
Yeah, Barrios has been effective against teams that strike out 7 or greater times at home, 20-4 win record there against teams that strike out 7, with the lineups that strike out 7, average 7 strikeouts or greater per game on the season. So another big stat there on the Blue Jays. Minus 117 against the Padres. This one to have a start time here of 7 p.m. Eastern time. All right, Big Al, let's take a look over at Pick Dogs for our action here for tonight's action. Handful of games here from Major League Baseball. What do you have going over at the site?
Well, I had one baseball play today. We won it. Thank God. It's been a rough start to the second half, but I had the Houston Astros against Dawson Gomber and the Rockies, so we cashed in the afternoon. I've got nothing left, but I have activated my Christmas in July specials, so I'll piggyback on what Mitch said a few minutes ago. It's the best time of the year to join. I've had, as you know, tremendous success in football and basketball over the years. Have won now 11 straight years in the NFL, so I've got my Christmas in July football package, but better yet, my Christmas in July football, basketball, baseball, hockey, and horse racing package. You get it's 1 year of all sports, and you can save $500 if you join right now. And of course, you can take additional savings if you use the coupon code that Mitch mentioned. I forget what it was, but I'm sure you know. And pick. Okay, I can remember pick. And so July is going to end pretty soon, so don't miss out. Join today.
That's right. This is a fantastic value, guys. Get on board with Big Al McMordie over at Pick Dodge Prim with that Christmas in July. Big reductions in prices here. That 1 year all sports pass, the football pass has been greatly reduced. That's your best value there. And you can still take even more discount when you use that promo code PICK at checkout. Big Al's been on fire here. You know how great he's been in NFL, producing great winning results here. Also in college football, also in all sports combined. Of course, that 1 year pass. All sports is all sports. You just want the football's out there, but looking at the price difference, just get the 1 year all sports pass. That's
it's like an extra $100, and you get, basketball and everything.
Basketball, hockey, and of course the college basketball, right? Who freaking forget the college basketball? So much volume of games there. March Madness, that's the way to roll, guys. Get the 1 year pass. Pick is the promo code. Save the additional 15% off. Big reduction there. Get on board with Big Al McMordie at Pick Dogs. All right, Big Al, as always, great having you show. Welcome back. And we'll catch up with you again tomorrow.
Be back on Thursday. Thanks
so much. Big Al McMordie here on the Drive Thru. We'll continue our show here. Guys, if you miss a pick, we're going to recap at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. All right, let's continue on. Let me get the game set up here for Wayne. Hope we get him right the first time here with Wayne. So yesterday was the third time, sometimes the second time. There's no games going on, so hopefully there's no need for Wayne to kick the table, which causes a lot of the mic issues. And there's some loose connection over there, Wayne. I know that because I saw you when you kicked the table. We lost sound from you that one time, and I figured that's what triggers everything. Bring him in right now. Wayne, what's happening? Well, he must have. I don't know what he did. He was laughing when I was mentioning that I kicked the table. Maybe I made him. Maybe he kicked the table after I made him laugh. Oh, there he is. Back again.
Oh, yeah. I had a little signal, but I'm good now. I hope y'all can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Wayne, we're ready to roll here with Wayne Scott. We're going to take a look at the game for tonight here as we're going Giants and Reds. Giants have had success coming off the break. Reds trying to – we started with that series with Milwaukee. That was their nemesis. It's funny. They closed the break with the Brewers. Then they get the Brewers again, and the Brewers have owned them. But now they get the Giants, another team that's had some success. The Giants favorite here, minus 107, total 10.5.
Yes, sir. As Tony has said, these Reds, man, they're 4-6 in their last 10. They're on a 6-game losing streak, getting smacked around a little bit by the Brewers and the Mets. So we say. But if you've really been watching these games and taking a look at it, man, a lot of these games, the Reds have been up. They only lost 4 of these games by 1 run. So they've been digging and clawing. They went, and this is not a bad team. And the Brewers are San Fran that they've been losing to. So I wouldn't discredit all these losses like that, like as if they're just falling off or something like that. What happened is they're playing real good teams. They're struggling a little bit. But this is a game where I think you can get back on them. I like the Reds tonight with Ashcraft. I think they can craft a win and strip San Fran of their winning streak. They're 1-7 in a row. And Stripling's 6.1 ERA, 1.4. This guy's been getting smacked around. Ashcraft has looked good in his last few outings. And when it comes to the bullpen and when it comes to the batting, these teams are pretty similar. Definitely when it comes to looking at these stats on the season. But as of recently, I have to give the edge to San Fran that has a slightly better bullpen and slightly better bats. But I love the spots for the Reds here tonight. You got them as an underdog. The world's kind of letting them fall back under the radar. A lot of people humping up on San Fran, which is a good team. But it's hard to sweep teams in the MLB, and I don't think the Reds get swept here tonight. I think they fight like they continue to fight, and they fight and get the win. They have been up in both of these games. Bullpen slipped up and let San Fran get back in both of these games. We've seen early in the season the Reds were the team coming back. Now they're getting come back on a little bit. But like I said, no panic mode. I'm hopping on the Reds. Got them at plus 105. They're still underdogs right here, and I think that it's a good bet for the night.
All right,
on the Reds.
Wayne is going to hop here on the Reds. Here, minus 103, pretty close line here, and I think part of it is the Stripling, right? Stripling's been one of those pitchers that, he broke in with the Dodgers, thought he would be a starter, then was moved to long relief, started, then they shipped him out to Toronto, then he ends up with San Francisco. His whip has been okay the last 3 days. Of course, Ashcraft, the sweat here is the data that we have on Ashcraft at home. It's been pretty rough here in his 10 starts at home this season.
Yeah, you're right about that. He's been getting smacked around at home, but if you look at his night splits, that's when you get a good Ashcraft too. So are we going to get the bad Ashcraft at home? Or are we going to get the good Ashcraft at night? We'll see. And based off of how he's been playing in his last three, only giving up one run a few times, I'm hoping we get that good night split Ashcraft tonight.
Yeah.
And Ross Strickland, I don't think we can see a good outing out of him at all. That's just me.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that the past 3 games because we're part of the season now that we blurt out sometimes season-wide longers, but in baseball, especially when you have 160 games, you got to really do some deep dives and pretty much focus a little bit more on the short term because remember, in between starts, pitching coaches are working with these pitchers. And I think you've had a background in coaching, right? They're looking at film, they're looking at numbers, they're looking at deliveries, they're looking, hey, when you were successful, this is how you looked on the mound, this is how you look now. Yeah, maybe you put a little bit too much weight, get leaner, a lot of little things they tweak with these pitchers. And sometimes a pitching coach can get you on the right track.
Yes, sir. It looked like they whispering something in Ashcraft's ear about what he's been doing right because he's been looking a lot stronger, like you said. At the beginning of the season, nobody wanted to bet behind him, even with the Reds bats going. But like you said, man, looking at him recently, he's tweaked some things. He looked a lot better on this mound, and I'm going to give him a shot here with the Reds. You always got a good chance with the Reds, how they're batting recently, and I do feel like they have the better pitching matchup. Hopefully we get the good Reds bullpen and not the bad Red bullpen, and they can squeak them a victory out tonight and avoid the sweep.
Also, too, it's between the years when you're struggling, attention to detail becomes 110%. It's a lot different when you're struggling, and when you start looking at the minors, right? You say, oh, this guy got sent down. Oh, Atlanta sent this guy down. Then you start worrying, oh man, I don't want to be the guy getting sent down. That's what these pitchers go through, especially when you have these type of numbers. Wayne here, Reds here is the play, minus 103 against the Giants to start here, top of the hour. All right, Wayne, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge Win for tonight's action. Of course, with Wayne, 1,004 units of profit in baseball this year, showing good results. Also good results over the past 30 days, 949 units of profits. Baseball on the board tonight. What do you have going on over at Pick Dodge Premium?
I'm completely transparent. I got crushed yesterday. Went over. It's hard to go over. I gave out that banger on the Rockies. I did bet the Rockies, so it saved me a tiny bit. But lowered my bets today. Only a few bets. One of them went off was Houston, and I have my game of the day. So I'm looking back to get back on these winning ways. I'm betting all my bets, so I'm a little crushed about yesterday. Coming back, stacking these wins up back slowly and continue to ride this MLB season out and get to what I know best is football coming up. So let's get it. Let's get this play of the day out, and let's hit it today.
Hit it today in with Wayne Scott over at Pick Dodge Premium. So good results here. 1,004 units of profit of baseball. So get on board. Major League Baseball hit and run play of the day up there. There's $19 premium up there. But instead of buying the plays individually, Christmas in July, that 1 year all sports pass, fantastic value, great reduction. Remember the promo code will apply. So when you use the promo code PICK at checkout, you'll save $150 off the already reduced price. So it's bundled savings on top of a savings there. So an extra savings there. You get the Christmas in July discount, and then, of course, you can bundle that with the 15% promo code discount. So great value right now, guys. So go ahead and get on board with Wayne for that 1 year Christmas in July. All right, Wayne, as always, great having you show. Have yourself making a recovery day today. You have put up some great numbers. Okay, there's always going to be some give back, but you just keep it rolling here. We'll catch up with you again on tomorrow's show.
Appreciate you for having me, Tony. Like Tony said, man, y'all don't wait till you see me climb back up that leaderboard to get that 1 year pass or see me on top of the football. Like he said, it's the best time to get it right now. This is the lowest it will be. So if you want to hop with me long term, get it now. Appreciate you for having me, Tony T. I'll catch you guys later. Catch you guys tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, we'll catch Wayne tomorrow here on the drive-thru. Little signal issue there with Wayne today. All right, let's continue on the show. Guys, you missed the pick. We're going to recap at the end of the show. Stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here on the drive-thru. Up next, Rod Zawacky. Catch him over at Pick Dogs Premium. We'll bring in Rod in right now. I think we'll be set to roll here. We got some baseball coverage here from Rod. Let me get the program up here for him. Rod Zawacky, ready to roll with Rod. Rod, what's happening?
Hey, not too much. Enjoying this Wednesday. We enjoyed a little bit of daytime baseball. I was with you. Guardians.
Well, I've been on the wrong end of too many of those. I was at the wrong end of those Astros Angels series, the Marlins bullpen blowing up there in the Baltimore series. That was if I'm going to get crushed, let me do it here in just a 7-day period of the baseball season. I'll do with that. Then just going to get through it. It happens, and you have to be. It's going to happen. You just have to deal with it. It's a variance, right? It's going to go against you. Point.
I'm sure me and you could write a book of the bad beats and the comeback beats that we've seen in our lifetime of making sports bets on baseball of these comebacks that we've seen. And we've seen that. That's been a theme this season. Just because that team's way out to a lead, no lead safe. We've seen many teams up 7-0 and I'll come roaring back.
We don't see starters go 7+ anymore. That's the thing. We don't see starters go 7+.
Yeah, you don't see the gritty starter go 7-8 innings, 1-2 hit ball. You see, there's a few guys that are still pitching like that. But
like tomorrow, Blake Snell is a big favorite tomorrow. Actually, not a big favorite. He's about -114 on the road against Bassett, right? So, Blake Snell's pitching well. But when you look at his numbers, he's pitched 5 innings in 2 of his past 3 starts. Right? I mean, so you got to sweat 4 innings of the bullpen with him, when he's on the mound.
Exactly. Against the Jays in the bullpen?
That's tomorrow's game. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing here. So, I start my deep dives the day before, to make sure I get to know what I'm doing. But here tonight, Daybacks and Braves going head-to-head here. Big line here, Braves, 226, total of 10.
Yeah, this line has just been on the rise. Everybody's jumping aboard these Braves after, I guess, they figure a bounce back. Well, what we seen yesterday was just a slugfest. Diamondbacks got up early and were looking good, and then they blew that lead, and the Braves came back, and then I don't know how many lead changes. We had, 5 lead changes, 6 lead changes, until the Diamondbacks finally won it. Well, we're looking at this game here, and Ryan Nelson getting the start for the Diamondbacks, and he's been good. He pitches his best stuff on the road, 3-1 on the road with a 2.68 ERA this season on the road, 1.07 WHIP. He's pitched solid on the road. Last time we seen him, he did equate to the loss, like we said. He went, pitched his good chunk. Then we threw it to the bullpen, and the bullpen gave up the lead late and lost to the Jays 7-2 the last time we seen him pitch. But he pitched well. The other side of the coin, we got Charlie Morton going in. Man, has he been pitching well? Winner of 5 straight, rolling right along. At home, not as strong. 5-3 with 3.55 ERA at home with a 1.3 WHIP. And you look when you throw it to the bullpen, these bullpens almost a coin flip even when you throw it to the bullpens, and then offensively versus right-handed pitching, it's almost even there as well. These two teams, this is the meeting number 5 of the season between these two. And Arizona's got 2. Braves have 2. So it's kind of a rubber match in this one. And I look at this one. The Diamondbacks beat Charlie Morton earlier this season. That ended up 3-2 in that game where Charlie Morton went 7 innings, gave up 6 hits, 3 runs, a couple walks. That could have been more damage than what it was. Definitely got out of a couple jams in that one, I remember. So you know what? This price is too high. All the values here with the Diamondbacks. I wouldn't even mind if you want to take the +1.5 as the Diamondbacks on the road have been a money machine to that run line, the +1.5 at plus money. But I'm going to go straight out. I think the Diamondbacks can get the win here again. Give me the Diamondbacks at the +2 times our money on that one.
All right, we got Rod here in the D-backs, +196, +204. You're in line shopping. You're seeing plus money too on the +1.5. That's always good there. Of course, as you're the road team, Rod, you're going to get your 9 at bats.
Exactly. That's what that +1.5 at plus money. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit on both. I think I'm going to put 60% of my bet on the money line and put 40% on this +1.5 here. As how can you go wrong? And especially with the D-backs, where they 29-12 on the road this season to that run line. So I think they win it outright. I think we don't need that +1.5, but as a little sprinkle, look at that. That's where you want to be. You get that little bonus run. You get all your at bats. So
There you go.
Go
Rod here with a good big plus here on the D-backs against the Braves. This one starts 7:20 Eastern time. All right, Rod, let's take a look over at Pick Dodge for tonight's action. Of course, baseball on the board tonight, showing great results here. Last 30 days, 732 units of profit. What do you have going on over at Pick Dodge Premium?
And over at Pick Dodge Premium, what I got left tonight is my 10-star play of the day. The play I love the most is what I got available left. We've hit 34 of the last 50 my 10-star play of the day, so you want to head on over, scoop that up over at Pick Dodge Premium. Use that promo code PICK, save 50% off. Or as everybody's said before me, it's that Christmas in July. Grab my year pass, use that promo code PICK at checkout, and you'll save an additional 15% off that, and then work out to be about $70 a month with football right around the corner. College football, I've done real well over in college football the last couple seasons, so definitely jump aboard, grab my year pass. Looking forward to that. And then you know what I do in NHL, so definitely the year pass is the way to go. Biggest savings to you, and more pounding in the bookies, more plays, that way you don't miss out on anything. Playoffs, regular season, you get every best bet that I release, so jump aboard.
Jump on board with Rod Zawacky over at Pick Dodge Premium. Good results over the last 3 days. Christmas in July, your best value right now to get on board with Rod's 1-year Raw Sports Pass. Remember, the promo code applies. So that pick at checkout saves at 15% off, about $115 off additional on that. You get about really good savings there on that Christmas in July, about $9.50 or so after the discount. So get on board. 1-year All Sports Pass, great value over at Pick Dogs. All right, Rod. Have yourself a great evening. You're off tomorrow. I know we've got it's peripheral pick with Rod. We'll look at this Canadian game tomorrow. CFL Elks and Blue Bombers. Looks like Blue Bombers favored 14.5.
Right? Like I said, the Winnipeg's gonna be mad, but I think that's just too many points. Total disrespect here to the Elks. They are bad, but I don't think they're minus 14, 2 touchdowns bad. I think they can get the cover there. We don't need them to get the win. We just need them to get the cover that 14.5. I'm going to take the Elks plus the 14.5. I think they can keep it a 10-point game or less.
Keep it at 10 or less there from Rod. Peripheral Picks. He's off tomorrow. All right, Rod, have a great night. We'll catch up with you again on Steak Friday.
Yeah, you have us all good ahead as well, Tony. And we'll see you on Friday. Go Steak Friday.
That'll Steak out Friday with Rod Zawacky. Rod Zawacky here on the Drive Thru. We'll continue our show. Guys, if you miss a pick, we're going to recap at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. Let's continue on here on the Drive Thru. Up next, we got Dana Lane. Catch him over at Pick Dog Spring. We'll bring Dana in right now. Set to roll here with Dana Lane coming to us from Las Vegas, Nevada. Dana, what's happening?
It's hot. That's what's happening. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's hot across the country, all over from Texas to the West Coast to the East Coast, Midwest, North. It is hot. But tonight, Tigers and Royals going head-to-head. We see the Tigers up to minus 150, total 8.5.
Yeah, it's a pretty good pitching matchup. I really like Eduardo Rodriguez and the way he's thrown this year. I think probably in his last 5 starts, he'd probably tell you that he could have thrown a little bit better. He hasn't been as effective of late, but when you're not as effective, up comes the Kansas City Royals and Ryan Yarbrough. And why it's an interesting matchup, first of all, you can't write Detroit off. I mean, they're 10 games under 500, but what are they, 6 games out of first place and the American League Central. So at least yeah, they're a poor team, but at least they're going to be somewhat still engaged. And if I'm the Tigers, and I still think I can win this division and still be involved in the postseason talk, which is complete garbage at the end, this is a series where they have to win. There is no doubt about it. They have to go into Kansas City, and they have to win the series, if not sweep the series. And if they do, well, we'll see what happens after that. But as far as Rodriguez is concerned, this is a really good spot for him. Even though we're going to have to give up a buck 50 or so, this is a revenge spot. If you remember, last time against the Royals, he didn't pitch too bad. Only gave up a couple earned runs, but 8 hits in over 5 innings. I think he would tell you that he could have thrown a little bit better. So we're getting a good revenge spot here. Plus, with Rodriguez, he's a guy that if he locates his 4-seamer, which is the pitch that he throws over 40% of the time, he's extremely effective. If he doesn't, which he had a problem a couple starts ago against the Oakland A's, believe it or not, then he gets hit around pretty good. But if he controls that 4-seamer and only sets up his cutter, and hitters are only hitting 200 against that cutter. So he can be extremely effective. It kind of shades of what he was in Boston. I really like him going into that matchup. But as far as Ryan Yarbrough is concerned, I mean, where is he between the ears? I mean, that's really what the question is here. And I don't mean to take advantage of a spot, but the spot really says, hey, look, this guy missed 55 games after getting hit by a line drive, and then he hasn't pitched in the last 10 games, pitched one game in the last 10 games. So he hasn't thrown the ball a lot. And, when you get hit with a 106-mile-per-hour line drive, I don't care who you are, that is going to affect you. And not only that, I mean, you're just playing on probably the worst team in baseball. If not, if you want to throw an Oakland over in there, it's, back and forth. But he's not very good at home. He's only 10-16 at home. That's lost bettors almost 924 units on the season, one of the worst marks in baseball. And as far as an offense is concerned, you cannot rely on Kansas City whatsoever. And I know don't get me wrong, we're not saying Detroit's a juggernaut. I think they're right next to each other in the offensive standings. But Detroit has averaged over 5 runs a game, or close to 5 runs a game in their last 5 games. And I know you're throwing in a 10 spot, but also you have a shutout in there as well. So it does even out. And this Royals team, I just can't rely on them. Historically, it's been bad. 2023 has been bad. I don't mind laying $1.50 where I really think I have the pitching in my favor tonight.
Yeah, Dana here is going to be on the Tigers. They lay the -147, -150 here against the Royals. Yeah, Yarbrough, a big drop from the Rays organization down to the Royals. Of course, in the Rays, he was struggling a lot, especially in that opener role, had a lot of struggles. And this year, a career low 14% strikeout rate. So he's pitching to a lot of contacts in this limited sample this year.
Yeah, and he's pitched. I mean, look, the other thing too, Tony, when you're handicapping baseball nowadays, it is not just about starting pitching more than ever. And for Kansas City, when you look at that bullpen, hey, their number one guy is gone now. Aroldis Chapman's in Texas, so you're not even relying on a guy to come out of the pen to throw 103 miles an hour to shut games down. They have the worst bullpen ERA in baseball anyway. They're horrific at home. They're 26 and 58 on that kind of a run, dating back a few seasons at home. 13 and 24 this season as a home dog. There's just nothing about Kansas City that I ever really want to put my money behind. And as long as I think Detroit is still engaged in the 2023 season, I will go against Kansas City even when they're playing a poor team.
There you go, Dana here. Tigers -147 here against the Royals. The start here, 8 Eastern time. All right, Dana, let's take a little right pick dogs for tonight. Baseball on the board tonight. Of course, Christmas in July. What do you have going over at Pick Dogs Premium?
One game left tonight. Of course, Seattle and Minnesota. Good card of early games, which I absolutely love getting up in the morning and starting the day off with baseball. But, of course, the NFL exhibition season is less than a month away, and then we're talking about NFL exhibition season, and the NBA and NHL is right behind it. Encourage you guys to get that 365-day-a-year package for less than $100 a month. It's the best value on the board. Also, you can get the rest of the MLB package for less than $100 a month as well. But excited to have some multiple sports going on pretty soon.
That's right, guys. Got to vote. Dana Lane over at Pick Dogs Premium. Good time to get his 1-year all sports pass. Remember the promo code PICK at checkout. You'll save 15% off. But also add a second capper with that 2-for-1 capper promotion, making it even a greater value there. Get it on board with Dana Lane. Or if you want to get an individual play, we do have some package passes up there right now. Late night winner between Twins and Mariners will be part of that pass if you get the long-term pass or buy it individually. All right, Dana, as always, great having your show. Have yourself a great week. We'll catch up with you again next week.
You too. Best of luck to everybody. Thanks, Tony.
You got it. Dana Lane here on the drive-thru. Let's continue here on the drive-thru. Kind of rich in the witching hour here. So we're going to get to the recap. Then we'll get to my explanation of my pick. But you'll see my pick here on the recap. So let's get to the recap. And then I'll tell you why I like my side that I'm going with. So let's go ahead and bring up the recap. We had Chris start us off with Mitch run line. Lay the run and half plus 100 against the White Sox. Mitch was on the Mariners -140 against the Twins. Al McMordie, Blue Jays -117 against the Padres. Wayne says Reds -103 against the Giants. Rod, big dog again here. He struck with the Rockies, right? He had the Rockies as the big dog. And he comes back here with a big dog tonight. Diamondbacks +196 against the Braves. Dana, the Tigers, minus 147 against the Royals. I'm coming in with a dog with the Nationals, plus 139 here against the Cubs. Which one do I like the best? I like the Blue Jays here with Big Al McMordie here at minus 117 here. Darvish had those issues here on the road. And, when you look here at the tonight's starter here for Toronto, he has been really effective here. Berrios has been very effective here against teams against strikeout lineups, like the Padres that average 7 or greater strikeouts a game. Record at home, 20-4 there for Berrios. So I like that one the most. Of course, we went back to my game here, Nats and the Cubs. And, of course, as you know, I'm going to be on these Nationals here. And we'll get the game up for you here in just a second. It starts a little, actually, no, it does start here. Yeah, we got plus 139, even plus 144. Do your shopping, get the best numbers here. In this one, we have Hendricks. Let me make sure Williams is still going. I know yesterday, I got Trevor Williams and Kyle Hendricks still going head-to-head in this one. I know yesterday, he was slotted to go yesterday in some areas, but they moved him to die. And, of course, ERA 4.5, whip of 1.4 as well. Issue here with Hendricks gets to start here for Chicago. He's got a 3.57 ERA, whip of 1.09, but his K rate, an 8-year low, 15.5% strikeout rate. So that's the massive concern here. We're looking at 74 degrees in Chicago. It's a fairly warm day there. Not hot, I would say warm. But again, the contact that he's pitching to is the concern here for Hendricks. And of course, after dropping the opener of the series, the Cubs now are, well, actually, they split the first 2 games of the series. So the Cubs 6-13 at home against losing teams. And record for Williams, 18-8 against NL teams hitting 255 or worse. Of course, the past 7 games, Nats are averaging about 6 runs a game. And we saw the past 2 starts for Hendricks. He's allowed 9 runs with 6 homers in 10 of the 3rd innings. So we'll go here with the Nats here in this one, plus 139 against the Cubs, to have a start time here of 8 p.m. Eastern time. All right, guys, check out Pick.com. Got a 3-pack up there for you right now. 3 plays here for Major League Baseball. We'll also have Christmas in July with my 1-year All Sports Pass. So get great savings there. Remember, the promo code PICK at checkout will save you that 15% off on my Christmas in July package. And, of course, that 1-year pass is your best value here during Christmas in July. Get on board with it. Covers preseason football as well as all the postseason action from all the sports that I handicap over at Pick Dogs. All right, let's continue on here on the drive-through. Let's get back to the recap. You guys saw I'll keep the recap on the screen so I can remind you of all the shows here over at Pick Dogs. Remember, it gets started every day during the week here, 10:30 a.m. each time. Morning show. You got Chris as well as Jay on the show. Also, don't forget, we also have Mitch's 7 picks in 5 minutes. Betting tool shows. Mitch's Nerfies, Yerfies. Also, the roundtable with the professionals. That series with Mitch. Also, Chris has his home run prop video series. We also have Ron Romanelli rundown, pick from every game from Major League Baseball. Jay and Mitch together with that NFL show every day here on the channel. And you can check that out. Mike Davis live show to Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as well as his parlay video of the day and his first 5 innings as well. And, of course, Nick Menken with his Nerfies, Yerfies. Brad Francis parlays of the day as well. Lots of content. No, don't forget Mills, right? He's got his UFC rundown on the weekends. Comes in with his prop videos as well on his video series daily here on Pick Dogs. Guys, check it all out. Be sure to like, subscribe, set notifications. When these videos drop, you get them in real time. Get the best numbers. All right, that's going to do it here for our show for today. Let's go ahead and bring in our crew from today. And we're going to go ahead and wave goodbye, guys. You guys have a great afternoon.